He's a smug.
What?
A smug. That's Jewish for brick, right?
This is Schmuckast.
Welcome to Schmuckast, ladies and peeps.
I'm Lenny Sherman.
And this is the great old Matt Weatherford. How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing, older Lenny?
What, older
Anyways, so what's going on, everyone? Big thank you to everyone on the YouTube land. We got no hits, but
yes, we finally achieved our lifelong goal of 6 hits.
we're winners in my.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, in my mind, we're winners, and that's what counts. We're trying to get some merchandise going. I think we had a what kind of merchandise were we rolling out, Lenny?
Male sex toys?
It was something like that. Yeah, yep. Luke Skywalker, fucking Obi-Wan. It didn't quite work out.
In the ass.
That's all right. He was trying to do to Luke what Lucasfilm just did to Star Wars. So.
Wow.
So, anyways, I don't know where you want to start, Lenny.
So I've got a copy of Last Jedi here on Blu-ray. Would you like to watch it tonight? That's really pissing you off. We should talk about that.
I'm upset, Lenny.
Even though it's been out on DVD for 2 months.
I'm pissed off. I'm disappointed. I'm angry. I'm jealous. Well, not jealous. Jealous of who? I mean,
well, Ryan Johnson
I don't know
made
what
a
to
lot
say.
of money.
Fuck him. I'm not even jealous of him. You know, Lenny, when I first saw this movie in the theater, I thought, oh, okay, that was all right. But each day just ate at my soul.
Didn't I tell you when I first walked out, like,
yeah, you were like, that
right.
sucked. I thought you said that was not good.
Yeah, okay. It wasn't.
The more I thought about
it,
it, the more I saw stupid scenes, the more I read reviews, was like, well, that's true, that was pretty fucking dumb, wasn't it? Oh, that was pretty dumb, yeah. And just every day it got worse. And I sat there and watched this turd 2 days ago, and god damn it.
We had to cut out this emotional scene with Luke Skywalker mourning over the loss of Solo so he could milk a tit.
There was nothing. This was like Pee-wee's Big Holiday. Nothing.
You liked that movie, I thought.
For 10 minutes. And maybe this movie I liked about 10 minutes of the whole movie. No, I didn't. None of it. I didn't like any of it.
This was the first Star Wars movie that I didn't feel excitement towards. There was nothing in it that I really felt like every movie, even if like the mediocre ones had certain moments that were exciting about them, this one didn't have any scene that really stuck out.
No. Maybe the Snoke thing, but that was it.
The Snoke
Even after that, it was a stupid choreographed fight against those 8 red fucking faceless.
Let me ask you, I mean, everybody going in were speculating on who Snoke was, and even if they didn't give him any background story or anything like that, I wanted him to do something cool. Like, we finally got him in the flesh. He's right there, with the powers and everything, and they just kill him off like a little bitch.
It's funny, because we talked about it for like a year. Who's Snoke? Who's Snoke? And we had all these theories. Oh, he's Darth Plagueis. Oh, he's Anakin's dad.
Here it comes.
Great.
Here comes Rey's parentage. We're going to find it, and it's
nobody.
And it doesn't move the story
forward. We're about to find out who Snoke is, but he's cut in half.
Yay. I wonder how Rey is going to really change Kylo Ren at the end of the story.
Well,
and
she's going to suck him off.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. No, I don't know.
It was underwhelming. I understand why it's polarizing. Ryan Johnson knows how to direct a movie. It was a very visually stunning movie with just a flat story.
I want to know who actually liked the movie, and I'll punch him in the face. I would love to meet a Star Wars fan that actually thought this was a good film.
There's that, that whole thing about Victor Miller and Friday the 13th. Hashtag
we'll get into that too.
The fuck Victor Miller. Hashtag fuck Ryan Johnson.
That too. There is a lot going on in the movie world right now. We need to speak up, but god damn it, as a longtime Star Wars fan, I am so mad. I had to sit and watch that fucking turd.
You didn't have to.
I know I didn't have to, but I said I need to watch the whole thing. Let's see what happens. No, instead I get milk. I get fucking Luke milk in a cup. That fucking face he made.
Look, everybody, it's Mark Hamill milking the franchise.
Yeah, him milking the franchise. Where's Han? Next scene, milk from a tit. What the fuck?
At least we know where the blue milk that Bruce serves everybody in A New Hope came from.
Just all of it. The whole end fight sucked.
It didn't change anything in the overall story.
No.
We didn't really learn anything new. Nothing happens in Last Jedi that furthers the story at all.
It just shows they don't know what to do with any of these characters. None of them.
And now we have the news from Lucas.
Waste.
Go ahead with your news from Lucasfilm. What's going on now?
Oh, this is the big cherry on top since Solo is, performing pretty solo these days because that was bad. Because no one's going to fucking see it. It's made like its production
It
back
doesn't
in
work
4
for
weeks.
everything, Matt.
It's made its production back in like 4 weeks. Not to mention the $100 million in marketing. Let's see how that pans out. Yeah, but apparently they're cutting out. Well, they're thinking of. There's rumors that these standalone films might actually be put on hold for now, which might be a good idea.
I think it's a good idea. I mean, when I first heard that Lucasfilm was releasing a Star Wars movie every year, I thought, okay, maybe the first couple will be fine, but it's starting to show.
Yeah.
That Solo was by no means a bad movie. I enjoyed it. A lot of people enjoyed it for what it was. But, Star Wars used to be 3 extremely good movies that people spoke really highly of. And then once the prequels came out, then we started to see the series dilute quite a bit. And what I think is really interesting is when the prequels came out, people bashed the hell out of George Lucas. And now that Disney is running the franchise, people want George Lucas back.
Well, I do. I don't know if a lot of
people do. Yeah, well,
But
if you
you
read
do
the
miss
comments
them,
online,
because you feel like the story has just gone off the rails. And what they did to Luke, I'm sorry, just was a little disgraceful to me. Not just that he died in that way, but just everything about that, the character and on the planet. That wasn't Luke to me, I don't think. But I guess he was a changed man. That's what we all need to realize. The story was taking place a long time later, so obviously Luke wasn't going to be Luke anymore.
I don't know why people are so bothered by Luke being the way he was, because in The Force Awakens, Han pretty much lays that all out for you. Why after all this time would Luke still be like the happy-go-lucky boy, Jedi from Return of the Jedi?
He went to go die on an island by himself. For why? Why? Because he tried to kill his nephew?
Well, because he failed the Jedi Knights. I buy all that. I just don't agree necessarily with why he decides to redeem himself at the end. I thought, him and Rey should have shared the most screen time.
Yeah.
And I felt that she gets there, she decides Luke's not going to help him. She leaves like halfway through the movie, so they
fight.
They barely have any time together, and then she goes off to meet Kylo Ren, which is the same thing that happened basically in Return of the Jedi.
Right. And they fight too. Remember on the island they end up fighting each other. When she is it true? And they started fighting, and that's when he said, "This is not the way you think it will go." Fuck off, Luke. I don't think anyone knew. I think Mark Hamill knew this was a piece of shit. His acting shows it. I'm just not happy.
Mark Hamill has been very vocal about his opinions on at least that aspect of it. So, I don't know. Yeah, between The Last Jedi and now what's happening with Solo, and Solo 2, it's a good movie, but it got way too much, drama behind the scenes that are attached to it. Every review I've read brought up the fact that the 2 prior directors were fired and Ron Howard came in. Why would you do that? You hired these 2 filmmakers. They shot like 70% of the movie, and after they shot all that, then you fire them and spend all this money to reshoot a movie that A, nobody really wants to see, and B, was good, but not worth, $250 million?
They overplayed their hand. They thought this movie would make so much money it wouldn't have mattered.
Why would they think that, though?
Because they believed in Star Wars. They really thought these movies were going to keep making tons of money.
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes...
Guess what?
Well, this is kind of a good thing in a way for the future of Star Wars, because they now know, you can't just throw a bunch of money at something and expect to make a good return just because of its name. Look at the James Bond franchise. There's 25 movies. Not all of those movies have been financially lucrative. As a matter of fact, in the 80s, Bond was almost killed off.
I think this mostly goes back to Last Jedi. I really do. Because all the fans went to see it, and I really feel like a lot of fans felt ripped off. They just hated the product. And that can ruin the future a lot of the times, especially like the very next movie that they make. I think it did. I think it killed a lot of people's passion for Star Wars.
Yeah, I think you finish off 9, but make sure 9 is a good one to go out
I hope so.
Yeah, make sure.
Did Rose die? Honestly,
I don't know. Last Jedi to me felt like nobody really cares where the story was going. It really just felt like, let's hire a really good director who knows how to place the camera and make it look visually good, and let's not even care about the story.
It was just stagnant. Nothing progressed. Finn woke up, went to a fucking cantina, got a blowjob, and got a code breaker. That was it. Poe, there's a fucking mutiny. I
want to see that version of the movie.
With Dr. Sattler from Jurassic Park with purple fucking hair. Carrie Fisher comes in, wastes his ass. Poor Poe, man. I felt so bad. They just don't know what to do with these characters. They don't know. It shows.
Well, this one felt like a product to me. This was the first one that felt purely like a product. It didn't feel like a necessary episode.
Where's our boy Lando?
I actually heard there's a rumor that Billy D. Williams might be coming back for 9.
You. We can actually have a funeral for Han. They apologize for 8 in the opening crawl. We deserve it. And it's just folks. I remember you saying you were disappointed at first, and I said I liked it. And then it's just funny how a movie over time can just really eat at your dick and just chop it in half.
Yeah, maybe some movies shouldn't be watched more than once.
Let's not get started on Rose. The poor girl's getting attacked. I don't want to talk about that. Well, we can. Back off.
It didn't have a lot of focus either. Last Jedi, you brought in all these new characters. This is the first movie where you're telling a story about the original cast. You're telling another story about the cast you introduced in Force Awakens, and then you bring in 4 new characters. I mean, that's a lot of storytelling. I honestly was hoping that Lucasfilm would pull it off, but I don't think they did. And I think Solo is proving that maybe they need to slow down a little bit and actually put a plan together of what you want to do. You're just approving trilogies left and right.
I wish they had focused on this trilogy first. I really wish they had. And I'm kind of the mind, I wish they had stuck with one director instead of switching hands and so many hands in the pot. I think it would have been better.
It is, and it's just showing that Lucasfilm doesn't have a clear direction of what they're doing. I mean, why are you letting you're hiring these directors based on past work they've done? They know what they're doing. Don't hold their hands too much. Stop wasting money on reshoots and stuff. Just let them make their movie, because Rogue One and Solo might have been killer had you just let the fucking directors you hired
That's the hard
direct.
part is directors like to have a little freedom with their films, but yet Kathleen Kennedy's, always over their shoulder, or Lawrence Kasdan. It leads to some, because I'm sure as directors you want to do what you feel can be right too. You know what I mean? That's where the clash is, and they pretty much telling them where to put the camera, what to do, and it's just well, fuck this. I'm not even, why am I even directing this? I feel like there's a lot of tension backstage in these movies with
I mean, I'm not saying make a movie strictly for the fans, because that's what Force Awakens kind of was, even though it was good.
It was.
And then Last Jedi, it was almost like you intentionally pissed people off, because every decision that movie made was basically based on what the fans wanted. Oh, the fans want this? Let's just not do that then. Let's do the complete opposite. That you don't want to do that either.
I mean, what did the fans want? That's the question. I mean, what did they want?
That is the thing. They don't know. There are a lot of fans that'll tell you there hasn't been a good Star Wars movie since The Empire Strikes Back. Honestly.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with them, but a lot of people consider Jedi not very good. So,
well, I count Revenge of the Sith. I thought was good.
I love Sith. I mean, I'm the first to tell you, Jedi is my favorite one. Return of the Jedi, not Last Jedi. Return of the Jedi is my favorite one. But it's funny, these reviews, all the critics' reviews I've heard, it's like they point out all the flaws of the movie, and then they're like, "Oh, but it's a great movie, A-, even though I didn't like anything about it, A-."
I tried to like it for its flaws, but after a while, the flaws.
This isn't fucking Blade Runner or 2001. This is Star Wars.
Leave Stanley Kubrick out of this.
Well, I'm just saying, this is not that kind of movie where you just praise the visuals and then it's a great film. Star Wars has first and foremost been about character and plot. Last Jedi looked great, but the story and the plot were just convoluted, and they didn't move the story forward at all.
No, not at all. It was just a very slow speed chase. What was
it's a slow car chase in space. It's the slowest.
We're running out of gasoline, Poe.
Right.
Poor Poe. Why couldn't you just tell him what you were planning on doing? Why did you have to? I don't know.
Yeah. So
I like Adam Driver. I think Kylo Ren's kind of been fascinating. The only scenes I kind of liked were with him and Rey. That kind of stuff I can kind of get into, because those are the only two fascinating characters at all. And Rey's even just.
But I mean, the story should have really focused.
Good at everything.
Yeah, the story should have focused on Rey's relationship with Luke and Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren's relationship with Leia, which we barely got any of that, and it should have.
Well, she did die, but in real life.
Yes, she did die, but I'm just saying she was alive during the filming of that movie. The story should have been built more around Kylo's relationship with Leia, kind of like how his relationship was kind of built around Han.
But I think the plan was supposed to be with 9. It was supposed to be more her movie. That's what I've heard. That she was. Yeah, that would have been explored further. But
I understand. But
what happened? They had to
Last
change
Jedi is the way it is without Carrie Fisher's passing. They just should have considered
just
all
fuck
this.
This movie. Just
I don't
fuck
know.
it. I am never watching it ever again. I am never sitting down and watching it.
So I did.
I'll
ask
watch
you
Phantom
before.
Menace, right?
Yeah,
I watched Phantom Menace.
And you hated it. The whole time.
I
you were
did, but I
watching
watched
you were
it.
texting me.
And yeah, I don't want to watch the end. I'll try Attack of the Clones, the last 40 minutes of it, preferably, because I don't want to sit through bad writing. Can you retract when I was listening to a podcast tonight? You said Force Awakens was better than Star Wars. I still want to slap you for that. You did say that. I think you can retract that now. Do you take that back? J.J. Abrams made a better movie than Lucas? That's what you're saying?
I don't know. The reason why I said that was because A New Hope has that hour-long,
It's a great movie.
It's a very good movie, but
Okay, fair enough.
I'm just saying that the first hour is just droids in the desert. I mean, you don't even meet Luke till 20 minutes in. Think about this. The first, 20 minutes of that movie is Darth Vader, stormtroopers, droids. The only humans you see are Princess Leia.
There's more to it than that, isn't there?
Not the no. Look,
You don't
the
really.
first
You watch
20
Star
minutes.
Wars, you don't feel that. That's all you get out of it.
That's all it is. What are you talking about?
Because it's so much more.
I'm
I
just
don't
talking
know.
about that first 20 minutes. I mean, it's a very
It gives
weird.
me that warm feeling in my stomach.
Yeah, when you meet Luke and when they finally get off the planet and fucking go to the Death Star, that's where the movie.
So the
kicks
second
off.
half is good, but the first half you could do without.
Yeah, and that's why I thought the prequels really helps that. When Darth Vader walks in those doors and you've got this big backstory of who he is, now the beginning of A New Hope is more meaningful. But if you watch that first movie, it is it's just robots and droids and Jawas walking through a fucking desert
that
for
Star
20
Wars?
minutes.
Sometimes that is Star Wars. Look at the prequel. Look at Phantom Menace. What was that? A bunch of CGI creatures and Christopher Lloyd. Oh, not
The fuck are you
Jake Lloyd. Great Scott. I totally screwed that up. But back to the Lucasfilm thing. I think it's good because you know what? I wasn't gonna go see a Boba Fett fucking movie, and I don't think a lot of people would have. And they were probably gonna pour $300 million into these movies and lose all the money.
There's a lot more. I think a lot of people want to see these movies moving forward. They don't want to keep seeing backstories and prequels. Somebody made a good point with Solo, and again, it's a good movie. It's entertaining, but it doesn't tell you anything we didn't already know about that character. Han Solo has now been, as Harrison Ford, has now been in 4 movies, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We knew everything about him. We didn't really need to see him running the
Was it a
Kessel
fitting
Run.
entry into the Star Wars universe?
Solo?
Yeah.
Not really, because it's a good movie. It's a good standalone movie, but it didn't tell us. It's the first prequel that doesn't make me. It doesn't feel necessary.
That's what turned me off about it. I wasn't interested in. I didn't want to know what Han. The best part about Han is the mystery about Han. If that makes any sense, we don't know much about him when New Hope starts. That's what was kind of cool
It's
about
like
him.
a fistful of dollars, doing a movie about a younger Clint Eastwood. Who the hell wants that?
Yeah,
Why would you do that?
How he was raped by his dad and all this stuff. It's like,
If you're
what
gonna
does that
do
have anything to do with
if
it?
you're gonna do Obi-Wan, I can understand. He died. You can't really do much with him. So I would kind of like to see Ewan McGregor do a
McGregor
movie
come back, yeah.
where he's it's right before he meets up with Luke and everything.
Right.
I would kind of like to see that if you did a good storyline. And Ewan McGregor is of age now to pretty much be closer to Alec Guinness. But Boba Fett, you're going to do a fucking prequel movie. We want to know what happened to Boba Fett after Return of the Jedi.
Starlight Pit, yeah.
You should have done
him
that.
in the Starlight Pit, escaping it. That would be cool.
So this brings me to the kind of Star Wars film that I want to see.
Here we go.
It'll never happen. But if Lucasfilm approached me to not direct, but to write a Star Wars movie, I would do it in the vein of The Animatrix. One anthology film, completely animated, and it's 6 short stories in one movie. Each film is helmed by a different director, so each film has a different style of animation to it. And the one story that I want to see is what happened to Luke, Leia, and Han between Jedi and Force Awakens. And you can't do that with live action, obviously, but with animation, you can certainly do that. Bring back Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford.
Yeah, you could do anything.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have Carrie Fisher, unfortunately, do the voice, but you could still tell these stories, and you don't have to do a whole feature film about Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, 20 minutes each that outlines what happened to Leia and Han? How was Kylo Ren conceived? How was the First Order? How does that play into this? Where what happened to Luke? Where do the Knights of Ren play in? A 20-minute story could do that. Second story, Boba Fett. getting out of the Sarlacc pit. You don't need a whole 2-hour movie about that. 20 minutes that explains that,
Right.
and maybe what he did after that period. Lando. Everybody wants to see Lando, and Billy D. Williams has voiced Lando for years in Robot Chicken, and every time that Lando showed up, Billy D. Williams has reprised the role. So you could easily do a Lando segment. What happened to him in that time period?
Who cares? Maybe
Really?
that's what it is. Maybe people just don't care. Is that
Well, I
a
also know-
possibility at this point?
It could very well be. Nobody wants to see Bex. And that's the other thing, too. Han Solo has been played by Harrison Ford.
Right.
This is the first time that this iconic character has been played by another actor.
Who didn't even look like him?
I thought he looked like him. I don't think he really acted like he should have. I had a hard time seeing Han Solo in this movie. The character just didn't seem right.
Yeah, I could tell by the trailer. So I was like, this guy does not really seem to
I
fit the
don't
bill
know.
very well.
Han Solo has been very cynical. He doesn't know he is the good guy. He doesn't try to be the good guy. He's a very selfish person. That's who Han is. He's very cynical. And I understand this is young Han Solo, but some characters are just that way from birth. Like, we don't need a story explaining how he became cynical.
I agree.
Which doesn't happen. And the movie doesn't end with something happening that makes him cynical. He ends the movie very cheerful and happy-go-lucky, and
The thing
I've
is,
got a good feeling about this.
Han was fine just the way he was. And when you try to explain more about someone's past, I just feel like it ruins the mystery of that character. And
I
that's
don't
what
think
makes him so
this
fun
movie
to
doesn't
watch.
do anything to ruin Star Wars, but I would think that this movie would piss off more people than that fucking Han shot or Greedo shot first
Yeah,
segment.
I'm not going to talk about that. That's not some of the special changes.
This movie, I think, ruins that character more than that fucking 2-second edition does.
Yeah. So Last Jedi, what does it get out of the Schmuckast meter?
Last Jedi, I would give maybe a 5 out of 10.
3, 4.
I give it a 5
I just
because
couldn't
it's visually
like anything. Oh, visually
it's visually
good, but
interesting.
what else?
4 means the
That's
movie
it.
sucked, and I just thought it was visually interesting. I thought there were some parts that worked, but for the most part, you didn't know what to really do with these characters, and you added a bunch of new ones.
Freaking
in.
Han just standing over Rey. That's always creeped me out. She's sleeping, and he's just standing there. 3 lessons.
Actually, 2, because I got to go
creepy.
milk a cow.
You must have 1,000 questions. Where's Rey?
There's a lot of stuff
Okay.
you could have cut out of that movie. Like, for instance, Leia smacks fucking Poe.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and demotes him 2 ranks for
2 seconds
acting
later-
heroically. And 2 seconds later, permission
Go
to
ahead.
jump in a
Blow
ship,
shit
go
up.
ahead. Cut that out. That was inconsistent.
And he never should have. Yeah, and she gave him an order, and he just completely, didn't even do anything about it. I don't want to talk about this movie anymore. I'm done. I'm getting mad. I keep thinking of the stupid donkeys running away from the cantina when they're riding those fucking camel things. And of course,
Yeah.
Rose has to go on a speech about fucking political power. Fuck off. Get out of my Star Wars.
Well, one more thing about Star Wars, too, is I think people want to finally move beyond these characters and see what other stories you can tackle in the same universe with different characters. Because there's a lot of stuff you can explore. There are things about the Force which is the one thing Last Jedi did. You got some new Force powers that were very interesting.
Mary
You got
Poppins
Yoda
style.
interacting with the real world, which we've never seen a Force ghost do when he burns down that tree.
Being able to talk across the galaxy to each other.
Yeah, and physically being able to touch each other across the galaxy,
Did they really touch? I don't know. I thought it was just kind of a.
Well,
they're about
the
to.
scene where Kylo Ren pulls his hand away and there's
Yeah.
rain. They can
Oh,
physically,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Luke, when he was fighting Kylo Ren, he was still physically injured from that scene. I think that's part of why he died the way he did.
Why did he die? It's not really explained. in
It's
the
not
movie.
really explained, but the movie kind of throws hints out there that you're not just projecting your mind; you're able to physically interact with things while doing that.
So did Kylo kill him?
I think it's a little bit of both. It was left up to interpretation, and maybe that is something that 9 will answer, hopefully. See, I don't think 9 will address that, because nobody really seems to be going off each other's stories, but
Yeah.
9 should, wrap all this up and address all this stuff.
I hope 9's really good. I'll still go see it, but if it can wrap this story up nicely, then maybe 8 will be seen as not so bad, but not by me, because I hate it.
I've already heard that 9 is going to end opening the door for further movies. Nobody
God.
wants that.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson was supposed to have a trilogy. Remember? They were going to give him the rights to a new trilogy? I wonder how that's going to work out.
Just nobody wants product placement. Make your good movie first, and then market your toys. Because whether the movie is good or bad, people are going to buy the toys, so you might as well make a decent product.
What were those things called on the island?
Porgs.
Yeah, the porgs.
Buy porgs.
Yeah, porgs.
Please buy our porgs. My God. What a bad idea.
And then Rose saving the day and sexually assaulting Finn. Well, that's what people would call it. If it was never mind. I'm not going to go down that alley.
It's pretty funny, though.
I thought she died. I was like, thank God. And then later she's on a bed rest with tubes. I'm like, fucking A, dude.
Yeah.
I thought she died. I was like, all right, cool. I actually was happy. Thank God. They should have killed someone. Finn should have sacrificed himself. Poe could have, I don't know, got his head chopped off by a fucking helicopter blade.
I wouldn't have cared, though, because they didn't develop these characters. So if they would have killed off Finn,
But
I
it
would
would
have
have
been
upped the
like,
stakes
oh,
or
darn.
something. So we needed something, but we got nothing.
Phasma died.
We got fuck Phasma. Fuck
I'm just
that
saying.
too. That whole scene.
She'll come back in
Cringe.
9 with, like, crutches.
Cringe.
Like, crutches.
So good to have you back. Fuck you, Chrome Dome. And then, of course, who saves the day? Rose is the one to fucking distract Phasma while Finn bashes her in the head. Good job, Rose. Fucking bitch. God. I didn't mind her in the beginning of the movie. She seemed kind of nerdy.
So what'd you give this movie?
Cool.
A-? Great. Just like all the other
Yeah,
credits.
A for asshole. It's a negative asshole. Fuck this movie, dude. It just slowly ate away at my fucking soul. Ugh.
It didn't bother me that much because I kind of figured over time the movies would dilute themselves. I was hoping not this fast, but
It's
yeah,
bad, man.
I mean,
It's bad. And I think that's really why Han Solo is underperforming. It goes back to that. People aren't going to keep paying for these
the
guys'
last
movies.
movie, people go to the next movie based on what the last one.
Exactly.
And the fact that this one is
I think less
not
people
doing
went.
that great,
Yes.
I think Last Jedi has a lot to do with that.
I agree. Fully
And
agree.
I'm all for continuing a franchise. I want to see Star Wars continue, but Lucasfilm is approaching it, and I think Disney is too, as just a product. And Marvel is doing great. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying be like Marvel, but you got to do something.
Take some notes.
Yeah,
Take some notes, 'cause what
be
you're doing right
careful.
now-
Like, you don't want to copy them because everyone else is copying them and failing miserably. But you've got to continue that line of
Star
quality
Wars
somehow.
is the kind of brand that can pull that kind of shit off, though. If they
Yeah,
do
it
right.
should be. It really should be.
It
You
should have
guys,
been.
Lucasfilm has all the resources to make these movies fucking great. And there'll be a few Incredible Hulks in there somewhere. There'll be some underperformers,
Yeah.
sure. But come on, man. Like, you got to do stuff more than just product placement. And these movies aren't just products. These aren't just DVDs on a shelf. All right? People want to watch these movies years down the road.
They're beyond movies. Star Wars has gone into legend. It's more than just a movie now for a lot of people. I think for me and you, it is beyond a movie. It's an experience, and it's something that we've had in our lives for a long time. Some movies just go beyond being a movie.
And Force Awakens, to me, and probably to a lot of people, that was the last time I had a good experience, like a real experience.
It was an okay
watching
experience.
movie.
It was all right.
I felt
fine.
like, even though it had some problems, I felt like when I sat down and watched that movie, the whole time through, I'm like, this is an experience. I am very close to feeling how I did when I watched the original trilogy as a kid. Very close.
Yeah,
And
even
that was the last one that did that.
even the beginning of Last Jedi, man, I already had a bad feeling when Luke tossed the lightsaber behind his shoulder. It was already the beginning of the end.
I was kind of laughing. I kind of liked that.
At first, it was funny, but then you realize that was like the whole tone of the movie. It was just
Yeah, I guess.
poor Snoke. So, anyways,
The Halloween trailer, what'd you think?
all right, go with the Halloween trailer.
Sure.
No, I'm sure it'll be good. Let's hope. Halloween's a series I think that is kind of a mess, and I kind of like the idea of just skipping the sequels and just ignoring them, and let's just start from part one, even though he's already in an asylum and caught
I'm
and
fine
arrested.
with that. I'm a little confused as to why Jamie Lee Curtis wants to come back.
Why? Why not?
Well, because she already came back in Halloween H2O. Like, that was her comeback. And then,
I read in an interview she actually did not like that movie. She was like saying it was just a paycheck.
wow.
We could look it up, but she did say it was kind of just for the money. So maybe this time she read the script and says this actually could be the right thing to do. This might be a good movie. This might be a good return for Laurie Strode.
And I'm fine with that. If this is truly ignoring the sequels. If they pull a 180, like with Curse of Chucky, where at the very end of the movie you find out that, well, no, somehow, like it's Laurie's ghost or some stupid shit like that,
Yeah.
where they're trying to actually connect it to the fucking other 19 movies they did.
Cool trailer, though. Honestly.
Yeah, the trailer was
creepy
fine.
parts.
Yeah.
They hand over the bathroom stall, dropping broken teeth all
But
over.
trailers don't mean jack shit, because
I know.
they could have showed you every
And they
scary
s-
thing in
I
that
know,
movie.
and they spoil some scares, which sucks. Because in that closet scene in the trailer, that would have been a great scare. But now I'm going to know exactly when it's going to happen.
But it is out of context. There could be more to
Yeah,
it.
but when you see the room, she's going to go close the door.
Well,
Here
yeah.
he comes. It's just going to, man, that could have been
Maybe
a good scare.
not, though. You never know. Maybe they'll play
We'll
it a
see.
different way.
I miss
Blumhouse,
what's his name? Donald Pleasance.
Blumhouse. See, if this was Platinum Dunes making this, that would scare me. Blumhouse,
They made Whiplash.
yeah, and they also did Paranormal Activity, which is one of my
Yeah.
favorite recent horror
Yeah, that's
movies.
a pretty good one. Yeah.
So, and from what I'm hearing, the budget on this is not very high. They're known for doing lower budget fares. So,
I'm excited.
yeah, I'll definitely
I think
go
Jamie
see
Lee
it.
coming back is a positive thing because she must have liked what she read. I don't think she would have come back.
But I
unless
mean,
it was something.
if she said H2O was a paycheck, this could be that too.
Yeah, don't quote me, Jamie. I just read it somewhere, Jamie. I'm sorry. I feel like Rain. Watch out, Jamie.
Hey, at least it's not True Lies.
Watch out, Jamie. Oh yeah. We all
Fuck
remember
that.
that. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. I guess they have to explain how he was arrested and put in the
I
mental
did
hospital.
read an interesting blog, though. I know I told you about this off the air, but this
James
guy
Rolfe.
was like, Halloween is like the only series that's like a choose-your-own-adventure because it does go off on different paths. It's been this is the 5th time that it's been rebooted. The 5th time, if you
Wow,
include
you're right.
Halloween 3 was kind of a reboot. Then Halloween 4 rebooted it again.
No,
kind
Halloween
of.
3 wasn't a reboot, was it? That was a sequel.
It's
it was
not-
technically a sequel.
It wasn't a
technically.
sequel because it had nothing to do with anything. What is it sequel to? They
Halloween.
actually watch Halloween, the original Halloween, in that movie.
Well, you can't call it a remake then. It was just its own movie.
No, but it's rebooting the franchise because they were attempting to change the series into like a.
Wasn't that just supposed to be one movie though? I don't think they were planning on building on that movie at all.
No, but that was they were trying to take that movie and make it an anthology
So,
franchise.
all right, so what was that, a reboot?
Halloween,
H2O.
Halloween 4, kind of, because you started the whole Jamie Lloyd thing.
Yeah.
And you could say that was the first true sequel to Halloween 2. And then they did Halloween 4, 5, and 6. That was the 3rd time.
Yeah.
Halloween H2O was the 4th time because they ignore the fucking all the
Yeah,
other
that's
films.
true then, so
Then
the
you've
5th
got the
time.
Rob Zombie remakes, which is its own continuity. So here's another remake.
It's not a remake, is it?
Well,
it's more like
it's a sequel.
it's like a sequel. It's a
but
sequel.
it's the 5th time they rebooted it.
Yeah, it's like changing the rules of the story and all that. And that's really the mess of Halloween. Is it's never consistent, and it's like choose your own adventure. Each movie has like its own take. And I've
You could
seen
either-
most of them.
you could
I
either
don't like them
do-
that much. I don't like the movies that much. I've
Yeah,
seen
most
They're
of them
just
aren't
not
very good. I mean, I would say
The
one
decline in quality.
One and
it's
two,
crazy.
1, 2, 3, and 4 are all they have different levels of quality. They're all
Yeah.
pretty good. 5 and 6 I can't recommend.
No.
7 is one of my favorite ones. H2O. I really enjoyed that one. If it had ended the way they ended it,
I've never seen H2O.
Oh, it's
We
pretty
should
good.
watch it. We should watch
Don't watch Resurrection because it'll totally
No, I saw
ruin.
that, unfortunately.
Oh, jeez.
Go
I'm
figure.
sorry.
Busta Rhymes,
And
right?
then
Or-
parts of the first Rob Zombie remake were good. Parts of it.
Yes, that's good. That's being nice. No, it was all right. It was all right. But yeah, so I mean, the series really as a whole. I mean, come on, the first two, all right, whatever. Season of the Witch, I never saw. It just never looked interesting.
Well, you can't compare it.
I can't.
It
I
should
don't
just
want to
be
bash
called.
anything I haven't seen.
It should just be called Season of the Witch.
Right.
Honestly.
And that's what's screwing me up is the titles of these movies. They don't make any sense. Like, why call it Halloween? That's so confusing. Why can't call it something else? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's the 3rd movie in the series called Halloween.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
really what's
Yeah.
getting me. But yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. It comes out later this year.
Yep,
Sure,
October.
We'll do a
It's
review
the
of it.
first one that's been
Thank
coming out in
God.
October.
I'm
since-
excited. I really think this could be really good. I really do.
It could be. It's got potential. I mean, I'm glad that they're.
Let's get
kind
back
of-
to the basics.
Yeah, that's what it looks like they're doing. So that's fine.
All right.
I don't really buy that Laurie Strode is waiting for him after all these years because that's kind of what she was doing in H2O. She was waiting for him for 20 years.
But H2O never happened.
And this is the 20th anniversary of H2O. So it should be called Halloween H2O H2O.
Lots of water.
Halloween H4O. Because it's 40 years after the original. That's what they should have called it.
But yeah, it's good to just dismiss all the sequels because they're just so convoluted and different.
Can you imagine if they tried to incorporate every single movie into one? It'd be a fucking mess.
The fucking
Like,
family tree at the beginning.
Jesus Christ. Incorporate the Rob Zombie remakes.
Every
and
time he
everything.
kills a family member, they just chop another branch off the tree. We need Michael Myers to talk. That'd be great.
He does talk
Does he?
in the Rob
Barely
Zombie
heard him.
Halloween 2.
Oh, well, yeah, and the Rob Zombie ones. Die! The original series. Jesus Christ. But anyways, I had this interesting topic. I want to talk about it real quick because I think it's kind of cool for movie fans to think about this because I know you've got a few you can easily think of. We can go right away with movies that are loved but that you just don't like. Movies that everyone seems to love it, and you're just like, well, I don't get it. There's a few, right? Even popular choices.
There's a lot, yeah. And there's movies that I like that other people don't like.
Right,
that are
it can
popular,
go both ways.
I've heard people don't like Pulp Fiction, and I get that
Yes.
because when I first saw Pulp Fiction, I was like, well, this is okay. I don't see what the big deal is, and now it's one of my favorite movies, but I get it. Like, it took me like 2 or 3 times to appreciate it.
For me, it's like one of the most beloved. It's like the most beloved sequel. I could never get into Godfather 2. Never liked it. I thought it was boring. I like the Robert De Niro stuff is fine. The rest of it was boring.
I agree.
But people love that movie.
There are certain. It's shot very well. You could
Yeah.
tell that Francis Coppola, for making a movie he really didn't want to make, he said the only movie that really should exist is the first one. I think the second one was kind of an accident that it turned out so well, and people didn't like it at first. But there are certain points in that movie that I like with the Michael Corleone character. You know, the stuff that happens with him and Kay, him getting the assassination attempt. I just thought the political part of his story wasn't very interesting.
There's a lot of it, yeah.
I do agree that the story ended with the first movie. Now you're just grasping at straws, trying to...
Yeah, I didn't really care what happened to Michael after. I really
Yeah.
didn't.
No, I totally
It's
agree.
just when that door closed on Diane Keaton, the story's done. I just, that's the way it is.
And I love the Robert De Niro stuff in that film. I thought that was great.
But that's definitely a movie that's universally loved that I can't wrap my head around. I'm sure you've got a few. I mean, I'm trying to think of one now.
For me, there's 2 right away I can think of: Citizen Kane and Blade Runner.
Oh, let's not go there.
I just don't get Citizen Kane. I don't see why.
You got to
so
watch
many
it
people...
again.
Oh, fuck
But
you.
you're not going to, so it's over. It's all over now.
I've seen that
doesn't
movie
matter.
so many times, and each time...
When was the last time?
What the fuck? I don't know,
Here
dude.
we go. We're going to get into this
Do I,
huge debate.
do I gotta
Here
wait
we
till
go.
I'm fucking 60
Bring
to
it on.
appreciate that movie? Jesus Christ! I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying.
You just
I'm just
gotta
saying.
see it one
I'm
more
just saying
time.
it's shit. Is what
Shut
it
up,
is.
Matt. You said that 10 years ago. I still hate it.
No, I don't hate it. It's just boring. It's just there's.
We got to try it one time. One more time.
Try it one time. I tried it 50 times.
We're going to try it one more time.
No, we're
When
not.
was the last time you watched it?
I don't know.
5 years. I don't know.
There you go. That's a
Here's
nice
another
voiceover.
one. Batman Returns. I hate that movie. Everybody seems to like it a lot. It got tons of good reviews. It's got a fan base. But I don't like Batman Returns.
I've heard that people think it's not a good sequel to Batman, but it's an interesting Tim Burton movie, and I'll take that. It's like it doesn't even compare to the first movie because the first
I just
Batman is
don't like it.
one of my favorite films.
Yeah, mine too.
And I understand it's a huge Batman Returns is a huge leap down. I don't like the villains in that movie so much, but as a Tim Burton movie, I don't know. It's kind of underrated.
I just didn't like
I
it.
get it. I didn't like it.
But when I
it first came
when
out.
I looked it up on the internet, it's like, wow, this movie actually gets a lot of praise. Everyone
It
seems
does.
to like it.
It does.
I didn't
but
like it.
It'll never compare to the. It's like The Lost World to Jurassic Park. It's a good movie. Doesn't hold a candle to the original.
Yeah. Another one that everybody loved that I hate is Jurassic Park 3.
I hate that movie.
Everyone hated that movie.
Jesus.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of other ones.
Jurassic
There's
World,
plenty.
I think, gets too much praise.
Yeah. I like Jurassic World. It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Which is
but
passable.
enough to make it like the highest grossing
It's
movie
the best
of all time.
sequel to that series, easily.
I disagree. I like The Lost World better.
Oh.
I do. I like The Lost World better.
I don't like.
Eh.
Well, I don't think people like Hook, but I did not like Hook. I don't know. Maybe it's like a guilty pleasure. No, that's not really universally loved.
It's not considered one of Spielberg's best. I really enjoy Hook. I really do. I do. Yeah.
Still?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think it's a great concept.
Bangarang!
Well, the part
I
with
think
the
all the
kids
kids stuff
is
is a little
stupid, but
yeah.
it's fucking Never Land. Like, what do you want? Like the fucking Lost Boys to run around swearing like sailors? I mean, come on.
I tried watching Porky's. I didn't.
Oh, come on.
I
Dude.
tried, man, but I just didn't
Porky's
like
is
it.
terribly underrated.
I remember we laughed the first time I saw it. I liked it, but I was like, watched it again. I was like, it's not that funny. It's okay.
I would
Hi,
say
Mr. Wiggles.
I would say the same thing if I saw Caddyshack by myself. Like I liked it when we saw it, but I'm sure if I saw it again, I wouldn't like it that much.
Oh, well, I guess we'll see. Only time will tell, right, Lenny? Only time will tell. What else? Movies that are loved that you didn't like.
Yeah, call us in and tell us what your favorite movies are in the comments
Or
below.
the better one is really movies that you love that everyone hates. That's a good one.
Toxic Avenger.
That's kind of a cool classic, though, isn't it?
It's a cult classic, yeah. But, I mean...
It's got a pretty good fan
I've
base.
never really met anybody who I've shown that movie to that didn't like it. Because it is a really good movie. But you have to be in the right state of mind to watch that movie. It's kind of like Gremlins 2.
Yeah.
You have to be in the right state of mind to watch that movie.
That's a good
it's
choice.
Very bizarre.
Yeah, it's a pretty weird movie. But it's definitely the best movie Joe ever made.
My wife, pretty much every great movie on the list of great movies, hates every one of those movies. We were watching Spirited Away last night, which is
great movie.
one of the greatest animated films of all time, and she's like, I couldn't follow it. It was too weird for me.
Sounds like Amanda. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that good of a topic.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Yeah, that's a good one for you because a lot of people
And I'm
don't
not
like
the
that
only
movie.
one that feels like it's like the best sequel, and it might even top Raiders of the Lost Ark for me at least. But a lot of people feel it's the worst one. I totally
you're right.
disagree.
I've read that. Like people even want to take Crystal Skull over that, which I think is silly. But
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I love Temple of Doom.
that's a good one. Well, yeah, you are in a lot of the minorities. I remember your top movies were like a lot of sequels and a lot of went
Yeah.
against the grain a lot. So you definitely have quite a few.
Yep. I mean, I personally like Rocky. My favorite Rocky movie is Rocky Balboa, which is the sixth one that came out in 2006.
Rocky's universally loved.
I know.
I didn't really like it that much.
The original?
Yeah, it's okay, but it's
Grows,
okay.
it grows on you.
And it's
does
a good
grow on you.
story.
I've seen it
it's
quite
good,
a bit.
Feel good. Yeah, and there's some good scenes.
But I think my biggest problem with that movie, when you look at, by itself, it's I can see why people hold it in high praise. But when you look at the whole Rocky franchise, that first movie, there is nothing really at stake, because if Rocky just flat out lost the fight, he doesn't lose anything.
Yeah.
It's about, that movie is not about him winning or anything like that. The other movies, once he won against Apollo, or at least, went toe-to-toe and all that, now he's got stuff at stake. And so each movie, there is more at stake. Even Rocky 3, Rocky 4, which I don't think are better than the first movie, but there is stuff at stake in there. There is some real emotional
I think the
things.
first one's just cherished because it's such a rags to riches story. From going from what he was to...
Speaking of Rocky, did you see the Creed 2 trailer? It dropped today?
Mm-mm.
I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know.
I never saw the first one.
I wasn't crazy about Creed just because I felt Rocky Balboa perfectly ended that franchise. So Creed, once again, ended it in a way that I don't know, I didn't like it. But that movie was a standalone film, so
Why
whatever.
was Aliens was kind of boring to me?
Aliens? Did you ever see the whole
I
thing?
feel weird saying that. It was kind of just like mad to me. I don't know.
It's got its ups and downs. I don't love it like everybody else does. I do think it's a good movie. I don't know if I like it as much as the first movie, but that's a difference of taste, really, because they're two different movies.
Exactly.
I totally see
it's what
why
you're
people...
in the mood for, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I understand why... It's like Die Hard. I understand why people really dig
Do you
Aliens.
feel like an action movie or do you feel like a horror movie? That's the pick.
Yeah.
And I always usually side with horror.
And I
because
didn't
it's
like
my
either
favorite
one
genre.
when I first saw them. I didn't like either one. It took me a long... Those are grown-up movies, really. Like, those movies...
Alien
grow on
looks
me quite a
beautiful,
bit.
though, man. All those set designs.
Yep.
And, yeah.
Yeah. Those two are both really good, but Aliens, it's hit or miss. Like, there are some things I love about it. It can be kind of slow though.
Well, that about wraps it up.
Do you want to go into the Friday the 13th?
Oh yeah,
debacle?
Victor fucking Miller. So what? You've been reading more about this, or look, guys, the whole state of Friday the 13th is in limbo. We're in trouble.
I'm at a state
If you
where
see Victor Miller, please shoot him.
the only people that really care about this are the people who have like YouTube channels dedicated to the Friday the 13th video game, because they're not releasing any new content, so it slows down like your YouTube Let's Play channel.
And I heard the movies too. The movies are affected. The
yes,
merchandise,
but
even?
I don't care about the movies or the merchandise.
Oh, you don't care about the movies? Come on,
I
Lenny.
don't. I mean, I don't.
There
I don't
you
care
go.
about
You just
any.
said it.
I don't care about any future movies, because when has there been a good Friday the 13th movie in the last 20 years?
4.
Yeah, 84. Yeah, that was a long
No,
time
4.
ago.
No, 6 probably. Really, I mean 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, yeah, I would like quality good. Yeah, 6 probably.
I would say 7. I would say all the Paramount ones, all the first 8. The ones, all the ones done in the 80s.
Go there with Jason Takes Manhattan. We can talk about the Jason series, man. When was the last time we talked about it for the 5th time?
Shit, yeah. We have a whole like
That's another one.
3 podcasts.
Everyone hates
we're
that you
talking
love.
about.
Jason Takes Titanic.
Yeah. I wouldn't call that ship Titanic.
I know.
Jason takes on the garbage pail kids. It's more.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's one of the worst ones, honestly.
A lot of people
feel like the original holds up to a lot of the sequels. I do, honestly, because I like the original a lot. It's still got a nice, creepy vibe.
It's the first one's hit or miss for me, but I do like that one better than a lot of other original horror movies.
I didn't like all the off-screen kills. I didn't realize it until I was watching. I was like, wow, Bill dies off-screen. Like two of the other people die off-screen.
Yeah,
that
that movie was all about the payoff, really.
Yeah, it felt a little cheap though to just do them off-screen. You know, when she's out.
Well,
in the
even the ones that are on screen. The only one that you really see get killed is Kevin Bacon. Everybody else, they cheat it somehow.
And Marcy, that was it, yeah, with the axe.
Yeah, but you didn't see the axe actually penetrate. They cut away
you're right.
to it.
And that just...
Yeah.
Can I help you?
When they kill Annie, when they cut her throat, the killer blocks the camera while he actually does
that
it.
One's still pretty
the effects are good, but that movie's all about the aftermath, really. You know,
that's true.
Kevin Bacon's the only one where you actually see the knife going through.
And it's crazy to watch that movie now, knowing what's been going on. Apparently, Victor Miller's trying to fight Sean Cunningham for...
Which he's in his legal right to do. It was actually Sean Cunningham who took him to court and sued him.
So what does Victor Miller want? Isn't it beyond more money? He wants like the rights to Jason?
It's not so much the rights. I think he just wants the credibility. Like it really does boil down to money. He feels he's in his legal right to a certain amount of money. And what it is it has nothing to do with the past movies, but any future movies that come out, Victor Miller, because he created the character and wrote that first script, he feels he should have a certain amount of money, a certain stake with everything moving forward. And he had like 5 years to put that into play. He had to write a letter to Sean Cunningham, the owner, and Sean Cunningham countersued. He sued Victor Miller because of that. So it's not Victor Miller's fault. It's this whole court case.
Because, Sean feels that he's... What? So Sean's saying, no, you don't?
Neither one of them are in the wrong.
Or he's saying the script, you wrote the script and I paid you for it, and that's just the end of it.
Yeah.
Isn't that pretty much what Sean's saying?
But yes, and Victor Miller is saying that he wrote a version of the script before he was paid any money.
Oh, man.
So it's a legal dispute. And
I know he didn't make Jason the psychopath, but he did write Jason Voorhees in that first movie. So technically...
Which is weird because in the first draft, Jason's name was Joshua.
But even so, yeah.
So it's really interesting how
much right does he have?
Yeah.
But he's doing what anyone else would do. If you felt ripped off and that you were missing out on what you should deserve, I guess you can't blame him. He's in his legal right as a creator to do that. Whether the fans agree with it or not, it doesn't make it any more or less legal. He's in his legal right to pursue that. So really, until this is settled, there is going to be no more Friday the 13th anything. Apparently. Nothing.
Unless you bring back Corey Feldman as Tommy Jarvis and have him duke it out with Jason, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
I don't want to see.
Friday the 13th has run its course.
Yeah, it has. It really has. Are you going to do another reboot where he's in the woods again? Are you going to do him in outer space again? Are you going to have him fight Michael Myers or Freddy again? What are you going to do?
Make him a woman.
There we go. I would pay to see that.
Make him a woman. There we go.
He is the town Crystal Lake Flasher. There we go. I don't want to see a movie.
It's run its course.
I don't want to see a movie with Jason's parents being the killer. Like, who the fuck wants that?
I mean, I figured something was wrong when the reboot was decent and it made a lot of money. All of a sudden, the whole series just stalled, and it just was really weird because you would think they'd follow up with something. But apparently, this has been going on now for a while. Or?
Yeah, a couple of... Well, I don't know when the news broke, but I guess it's been going on for a couple of years at least. So,
and it does suck for, like... the fans are really the people that are keeping this series around and relevant. It's the fans. You know, they have
personally, I
poured
just
their souls into this, and now it's getting taken away because of this.
There are certain things that were like a product of their time. Back to the Future,
right.
Indiana Jones, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, all the great 80s slasher franchises, they were products of their time. And this is like 30 years later. Why aren't we just coming up with some new intellectual properties?
Yeah.
You know, make some new slasher villains. I mean, there are times where horror movies just go away and then they make a big comeback. We're kind of seeing that now. You don't see... the horror movies you see are really hit or miss.
There's been a couple good ones. You saw a good one you said, Quiet Place?
Quiet Place, which is awesome.
I hope to see that by the next time I see
great.
you and we can talk about it.
Yeah, but that was I've never seen a horror movie done quite like that before.
There you go, and that's what makes a good horror movie.
Get Out's another one that, whether you liked it or not, it was an interesting concept.
Yeah, honestly, I liked it.
That's what you need, some interesting.
Did you like
ways.
Get Out or no?
From what I saw, it was okay. It was an interesting concept. Not really for me, but, it was unique. You don't see a horror movie like that. Even look at the Hatchet movies.
Yeah.
I mean, the first Hatchet movie was pretty damn good. The sequel sucked, I thought, but I mean, that was a
For
new
what it was.
intellectual property. Do more stuff not more sequels to that movie.
Because people want Jason, and if they feel like it can still make a lot
I'm
of money.
fucking done with Jason. I really am. I
so
love
Victor
that
Miller
character.
wants future rights. I thought he was like battling for like all the. He wants a share of the money.
He wants a certain amount of money for and what it was, the letter that he wrote Sean Cunningham within his legal right to do was Sean had to come up with like an agreeable amount that Victor Miller should get paid, and Sean was like, "You're not entitled to any rights.
You're not getting shit."
Yeah, so
he feels he paid him already. It's already done.
Yeah,
it was done since 1980, which is right. If he was paid for hire or whatever, then he doesn't have rights, does he?
Right, that's what Sean is saying.
Okay.
So it's one of those tricky legal things.
Yeah, it's like a loophole.
But basically, it's like two lawyers suing each other. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, really?
Yeah, and no one wants to make any more merchandise or move the series further because they don't know what's going to happen. You got to figure this out first, unfortunately. And it sucks for people that play the game because it's got a fan base.
But, I mean, I understand people make a living from their YouTube channels and stuff, but for people that just play the game, it's not a great game. It's fine.
Right, yeah, we've talked
I'm
about
a fan of the series. I think that the creators who made that game, I think Gunwave Media or something like that, I think they did a great job using the license. It looks and feels like a great movie, but as far as a video game goes, 10 minutes with that
but
game,
is it fun?
and you've seen everything.
No, it's not a game you can play for hours on end. It would get very old quick.
Like you and me talked about this. It depends on who you're playing online with. And I've had nothing but really bad experiences with the people I've played online with. I don't know a lot of people that own the game that I can play with, and it's not a game that I really. I mean, I don't care.
and that's it. Just like Jeff Goldblum said. And well, no, that's it.
You're selling it and you're packaging
You're
it.
telling me female dinosaurs can breed? No. Saying that life finds a way. And there it is.
They literally. I would love to see a horror movie where like they resurrect him by throwing money at him. Like literally, they just throw money at him and he comes back to life. The Money Man. Yeah.
So you're going to see Jurassic World too?
Yeah, I'll see it. I'm not looking forward.
Thursday
to
night,
it,
right?
really.
You can see it. I think you see it Thursday night.
I don't know. I'm already.
We'll
it's already
getting.
It's getting like a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like I don't know. This is another series that's. How do you make fucking dinosaurs boring?
But
like
people love it apparently because Jurassic World. I can't believe it made all that money. It is hard to believe it made that much money.
Yeah, I'm going to be really interested to see how this one does, though. And what's funny is I haven't seen a lot of marketing with this movie. It had like Jurassic World was everywhere. This one just kind of showed out of nowhere.
Fallen what?
Yeah, the Fallen Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Oh, we're gonna breed another raptor! Yay! Oh man! Oh, Back to the Future 3. That's one. I didn't like it that much, but people love it.
Oh, we're back on that topic now.
Well, I'm just saying. It was just I just thought about it. Wait a minute. I didn't really like. Well,
that's
it's
another one that grows on you. The first 20 minutes where Marty like wakes up from part 2 and he's at Doc Brown's house. Those are the weakest points. Once he gets to the Wild West, it's great. I love that movie.
The love angle though. Ugh.
I like that.
Save me, Doc Brown. Save me.
That's not a dialogue. That's not a line in the movie.
Yeah.
I love that.
Maybe I should try to watch it again. I'm sorry.
It's a great movie. I love that movie.
The third one? Oh.
Yeah, it's not as good as the first two, but it's not a drop down in quality. That's just a matter of preference. I love the third one. By itself, it's great. I just prefer 1 and 2.
Yeah.
It's a great trilogy.
Well, what else you got, Lenny? Because I'm all about pooped. What do you got? Anything else? How long are we? 45 minutes?
An hour almost, 55.
55. We
55.
gotta keep it going. We got 5 more minutes.
I mean, we take...
Okay, that's the end. 1 hour was good.
We take the first 5 minutes out, of all the Cheeto chips.
Oh, wait, that's on there too?
Hey, David, you want to talk into the mic? Come here. Say hello. Say hello. Sing a song. Sing a song. What sound does a kitty make? What sound does Luna make? What sound does David make?
I'm just stupid.
What do you say?
What sound does David make?
Your man is stupid.
Say hasta la vista, baby. You gotta be loud. Say hasta la vista, baby.
All right, I'm spent. This was a good podcast.
And I'm spent. We talked a lot about shit today,
That's a
ladies
lot.
and gentlemen.
We
Thank
really
you for
tried
joining
to cover
us.
everything.
This has been a great 3-year
Yeah, thank you.
long podcast.
I'm sure it was worth it for some people.
Was it as good for you?
All right, Lenny.
All right,
Logging
gang.
off.
This has been Schmuckast saying
And don't jerk off sideways.
bye.
Wow, you're a lot bigger than me.